welcome to this video lecture. In this video lecture, we will discuss about the extrusion process of the plastics, right? So this is a topic given in the 5th unit, that is manufacture of plastic components. It is given in manufacturing technology 1 ME8351, and this is a subject offered for 3rd semester mechanical engineering students by Anna University, right? So extrusion is very important process as far as the plastic is concerned. Most percentage of the plastic components are manufactured by means of this process, right? In this extrusion process, we are using the device that is called extruder, right? The extrusion may be solid extrusions or hollow shaped extrusion, right? Now this is the device is called extruder. So in this extruder, there is a barrel, right? Here we are having the hopper. Through the hopper only, the plastic pellets are fed into this barrels, right? Now there is a screw conveyor. The screw conveyor is operated by means of a driving mechanism, that is by means of electric motor, right? Now this screw conveyor having the number of screws which is spaced with some distance, right? So this through this space only the materials what we are feeding is taken to the die, right? So here we have the die opening, right? This is the plate that is called breaker plate, right? Right, okay. Now we are feeding the plastic pellets through this hopper, right? This is coming here, right? Now in this this barrel, the total length of the barrel is divided into 3 sections. That is a feed section, compression sections, and the metering sections, right? So in these sections, the material which is supplied through hopper is filled here, right? So this material is heated by means of this heater, which is provided, which surrounds the barrels, right? So in these zones, the materials is preheated, right? In the compression sections, again further it is heated, therefore it is melted, right? In addition to that, here there will be the friction between that molded plastics and the screw conveyor. Because of that also the additional heat is developed, right? In addition to that, because of the continuous mixing of the molten plastics, again the heat is generated, right? Now this molten plastics is coming to the 3rd section. The 3rd section is known as metering sections, right? In these metering sections, the molten plastics are again compressed and it will be projected to a particular point. Here we have the convergent portion, so that the velocity of the molten plastics get increased and it will be coming to the die. From this die, the material is extruded, right? The extruded product is called extrudate, right? Now here this extruded product dimension is somewhat enlarged, right? Because already in this die opening, the material will be subject to compressions. Once it is going beyond this, there will be the expansion, right? So this is called the swelling of the plastics, right? This dimensions depends upon the type of plastics what we are using to produce the product, right? The extruded product is called extrudate, right? Here we have the breaker plate. The breaker plate is nothing but a plate which is having a mesh, steel mesh at this front side, right? Then there is number of channels by which the molten plastics is projected towards the die. Now the function of breaker plates is to filter the lumps of the plastic materials and to make the streamlined flow of the molten plastics. That is the function of this breaker plate, right? Already I told you there are 2 types of dies. One is the die which is used to produce the solid shaped product, right? Another die which is used to produce the hollow shaped product, right? Yeah. So this is extrusion die for a solid cross section, right? So here we have the extrusion sections, right? The mold flow material is injected, right? Here we have the breaker plate. In front of the breaker plate, we have the screen pad, that is nothing but the steel mesh. By means of steel mesh, the lumps plastics are filtered here. In the breaker plate, we have number of horizontal channels. Through these channels, the molten plastic is going, right? Here we have the convergent section, so that all the molten plastics are converged to a particular point. Here we have the die plate. The die is clamped by means of a clamping ring, right? Now here this is called die opening, that is L suffix D. Now by means of this screw conveyor, all the material is injected towards the die, so that the product is coming through the die. This is extruded product, that is called extruded. Right? Now you see, this is the diameter of the die. If you look at from this side, this is the die. Here this is called die opening. This is the cross section of the extruded product, that is technically called as extruded. If you compare the diameter of this die opening and the diameter of the product, it is somewhat larger than this one. This is why, because once it is extruded, the product will be expanded, that is called swelling. These dimensions depends upon the properties of the materials what we are taking for extrusions, right? Now these solid shaped cross-section products are normally in the form of rounds, or sometimes in the form of squares, right? Sometimes irregular shape can also be produced for the purpose of structural applications, or for doors and window moldings, or automobiles, or sometimes the house sidings also we are using the product which is normally extruded, right? There is another die that is used for the production of the hollow shaped product, right? So everything is same, what we discussed earlier. There will be the barrel, then the breaker plate and the polymer melt. Here we have the die opening. In addition to the die opening, in order to have the hollow sections, again we are using the mandrel, right? This is the mandrel. This is the mandrel. Therefore, this mandrel will give the restriction to the flow, right? This is a total die opening. If you look at this diagram, this is a total die opening. So in this area the flow is restricted. Therefore, you will be getting only the hollow shape. Only the hollow shape, right? If you have the section at AA, this is the cross section. Section at AA, right? Now this die, this mandrel is supported by means of a spider plate. This is called the spider plate. This mandrel is supported by means of a spider plate. In the spider plate, there will be the section wise opening, not throughout the annulus there is not opening. This annular space is split like this, right? Okay. So here we have the air passage. Here we have the air passage. Through this we are supplying the air. That air is coming from this point to this point. From this point is coming here, right? Why this compressed air is given? Why the air channel is provided? Suppose once the product is extruded, so at this point there is no mandrel. Therefore, what happens naturally, it may get closer. It may get closer, so that here we cannot have the uniform diameter of the pipe or the extruded component, right? In order to avoid that, what we are doing after extrusions, here we are supplying the air continuously, so that this air will be giving the force in this radially outward directions. Because of this, these extruded components will be expanded in the radially outward directions. Therefore, the uniform diameter is maintained. Clear? So this is called extrusion of hollow shaped product. Normally the tubes, pipes, hoses, right, and any cross sections which is having the holes at the center can be manufactured by means of this die. Yeah. So other than this extrusion die for this is extrusion die for coating wire, right? Sometimes the same setups, the same working procedures can be employed to give the coating for electric wires. Normally, to provide the insulation coverage, normally the electrical wire, that is electrically conducting wires, are coated by means of plastic materials, right? How it is coated? See this diagram, right? Now here the barrel is provided in the vertical directions, right? The product, that is the molten plastics, is coming from the vertically downward directions. That will be coming here. Here we have the breaker plate. Above the breaker plate we have the screen pack. Screen pack is nothing but a mesh, right? So this mesh will filter if there is any lumps of the plastic components, right? So in the breaker plates there is a number of channels. This number of channels are used to direct the molten metal, number one, and another one is it is used to increase the pressure, right? So that the pressurized molten metal is coming here, and here we will be having the die opening. We will be having the die opening, so that this metal is coming like this, right? Here we have the wire. So this wire is fed in this direction, right? in this direction, so that this wire is coming here. Here the molten plastics are coming here, so that this molten plastics will be deposited over the outer surface of the wire. Right. Now, by means of this vacuum line, here there is a vacuum line. This is called a vacuum line. So by means of this vacuum line, we are continuously producing the partial vacuum. Right. Because of this vacuum, what will happen? The material which is extruded here, that will be attracted towards radial inward directions because of this vacuum. Because of this vacuum. See, at this point the pressure is vacuum pressure. It means a negative pressure. Here it is atmospheric pressure. Therefore, what will happen once the product is extruded? This atmospheric pressure will force the extruded product, which is at hot conditions, in this direction. Therefore, that product will be deposited over the wire. Right. Finally, your wire is coming with the coated plastics in this direction. Clear? Then it will be wired over the reeds. Right. So this is the working procedure for coating the wire. Yeah. So this is the reference I have used. Right. Thank you for your patient listening.